Okay guys, so welcome back to the channel. So today, like I mentioned on Wednesday, we're going to be looking at different lies, how that affects our setup, what we need to change and what we need to do to be the most consistent we can from the different shots. Okay, so we've got a shot 5 yards. Okay, so let's get into it, let's have a look. Let's start with the fairway. Okay guys, so we're going to start with the one on the fairway. So again, what do we do different on the fairway? So we're going to have less interference between the face and the ball. Okay, so there's going to be less grass, it's going to be tighter, so we're going to have less things that are going to affect the spin. Okay, so we don't need to be steeper on these kind of shots. We can be relatively shallow. Okay, we can still open it up, still use the bounce, but again, there's not going to be much interference. Okay, so the only time it's going to be affected by spin is when we maybe have you out early, there's still dew on the ground, you know, water on the face is going to affect the friction and affect you being able to control that spin. So it's something that you need to take into account. So again, obviously, we were talking setup the other day. I often see people with stance too wide. Okay, so we're going to get that stance narrow. Again, a good reference is going to be a club apart. We're going to turn this left foot out slightly if you're a right-hander. Again, it helps us rotate through, opens our hips and allows us to turn through the shot a little bit better from this distance. Okay, so the shot we was doing the other day, okay, the setup changes. I say get nice and tall. Okay, when we're on the fairway and we've got this kind of shot, okay, ideally a little bit longer, but we can get so more than a foot away now. We're using the natural lie angle of the shaft now, still a little bit on the toe. So if we're looking at face on now, again a little bit further away from the ball, but my weight's still left-sided, so we still want to encourage our sternum just to be in front of the ball. So again, we're hitting down on that. Okay, stance is a club head width apart. Okay, so weight's left, and then from here again, like we talked about the other day, the key for pros is rotating and having this club finishing out in front of you. Okay, so let's give that a go. Good, so it comes out with a normal flight, not too high, good contact, centered strike, comes out with spin and goes direct towards my target. Okay, so the second shot we're going to play, so it's going to be out of the semi-rough here. So again, differences here, grass is a little bit longer, there's more chance of something interacting between the ball and the face. So the grass is longer, we could get some grass in between the face and ball, so that's going to affect the spin. So you need to look at the lie, obviously assess that. If there's something that could get in between the face and the ball, we want to be looking at changing our landing zone. So we know we're not going to be able to guarantee as much spin, so we then have to think, okay, where's my landing zone? What club do I go to? What do I need to change? So for me, there's a little bit of grass in between. I'm still going with my 54, so I can still get the flight and strike I want from there, but I know I'm now going to have to potentially land it shorter. If there was more interference in there, we could go to less loft, so you could go down to a 50, you could go to an 8-iron, or so if you did watch Friday's video, you could see that we could use a hybrid from here. We could guarantee that momentum going forwards. We've not got a bunker to go over, we've just got a little bit of rough, so that could be a percentage shot. But for today, I'm going to show you how we would change the setup with this wedge. Okay, so face on wise, I'm now going to get a little bit closer because I need a little bit more of a descending blow. Okay, stance is still the same, club head width apart, and my weight still left, so my sternum's still in front. So, okay, so the only change for this shot we've made is from down the line. I've now moved a little bit closer, just over a foot away, and now what I'm going to be able to do is again get that club working up a little bit steeper on the way back, down into the ball, try and get a little bit more spin and try and get a little bit more height. Club's now sat on the toe, we're using that bounce, so I'm slightly open, okay, and then from here again, my weight's left. Okay, so it got it up. Again, it's ran on a little bit past. It's showing that the setup changes. We got the flight we wanted. We got it high. We didn't need to flop it, okay? But again, it's showing how I can use that wedge for that shot. For the final shot, the one out of the rough, I have changed. I have gone to a 58, so I've got more loft because there's more interference. We're going to try and hit a little bit more down onto this one, so it's more of a up to down stroke, okay, to get that ball popping out of the rough and again get it going towards our target. So key thing here, guys, again, is speed. Okay, so we're going to need to keep our speed through that. What I see a lot of times is people panic, they're trying to help it up, they decelerate, closes the face and the ball shoots off to the left. Okay, so we've got to keep the speed in there. Okay, so setup changes, we're now closer. Okay, so we're a foot away from the ball, shaft's nice and tall. Okay, and now I'm going to start to work this club up more vertically. Okay, so there's more hinge to start with. We're going to get to hinge it up hinge down into the back of the ball, and that should get that popping up, okay? So if we get that too shallow and around here, this club's going to enter the grass, it's going to snag, it's going to start to close, and we're going to see that duff out, either stay in here or shoot off to the left, okay? So a little bit more vertical, so I'm nice and tall to the ball. We're going to pick that club up and then present the loft down onto the golf ball. We're using the bounce, so it's not going to take a big divot, but it's going to help us pop it up, okay? So let's give that one a go. Perfect, pops it up and out, okay? On a course, hopefully we haven't got a tree there, okay? So it has hit the tree and dropped straight down, but you can see how, if you have a look now, okay, so there's my footprints from the one off the fringe, and again you can see there's no divot, so I've took no divot, I've catched that nice and clean. So guys, so if there wasn't a tree there, we would use the 58 because we want that loft, you know, that was sat very down into the grass, you know, I was plugging that down, so there's a lot of grass around it, okay? If there's an overhang, again, we're starting to think about, okay, we don't want to leave it short, past the flag might be good, okay? So you've got to think about your loft, okay? So if you're thinking, well, that just leaves me again another hard shot, it might be a bunker, okay? Think, okay, if I go past the hole, I'm putting back up the green, I might see what the line is. Again, I'll limit the shots that I'm going to have. If I hit the tree and drop into the bunker, and then thin it out of the bunker or leave it in the bunker, I'm adding needless shots, okay? So here, I'm now going to show you if there is a tree. I've gone to the 54, I'm still going to open that, I'm nice and tall, and we're still going to do the same shot, okay? So we're going to hinge that club up higher on the takeaway, okay? So let's have a quick look. So nice and tall, hinge up, good. So you see how that came out a lot more direct, a lot lower, okay? So it's missed the tree, and that would have got me on the green and left me around about 10 feet, okay guys? So you can see the setup changes we go through. So if we go back to the fairway, you know, we're a normal stance away, we don't need to be as steep. Again, we can still open that club face, and we're working on turning that body, okay? Throughout the shots, the weight is always on your lead side. So somebody did ask that, a great question the other day. You know, I want 60-70% on your left on pretty much all shots you play around the edge of the green. The right foot, if you're right-handed, is just there for the ride, you know, so I'm really pivoting around this left leg. This right foot's just there, okay, it's just keeping you just putting it down, you're not going to hold it in the air, you know, it's just there for the ride. As we came into the semi, we got a little bit closer, a little bit taller with the shaft to encourage that descending blow. Again, we know we're not going to get as much spin because there's more interference between the face and the ball. Then finally we came into the thick rough, so again, I did manage to hit the tree, but again you see that if we're into thick rough, we need to get that club working more vertical, so again more up to down, okay, that's going to help that ball pop up. It's going to be nice and shallow, so it's still not going to dig into the ground because we're using that bounce, we're really opening that face, nice and vertical, down and up, okay? So you can see I didn't take a divot, the ball popped up nice and quick, so it did catch the tree. So if you have got an overhang, you need to think about, okay, what club do I need? If I'm long of the pin, is it okay? Okay, that's what we've got to start to think about. So you can go to a 54. So I used a 54 in that, it was really sat down, you know, it was plugged in the grass, but I was able to get that out under the tree towards my target, and again would have left myself probably a 10-15 footer on the course. Okay, we're not going to make that many of those, you know, tour average is probably 1 in 3 at best, but we're going to give ourselves a chance. We're going to limit having another chip, possibly in a bunker or something in front of us, and making ourselves have another tough shot. So 3 different lies there, guys. We've gone through what you have to change up setup, so hopefully that's helped you. It's give you some understanding of when we need to get the shaft tall, what kind of motion we need to play out of the different lies, because again on the golf course we're going to get all 3 of these shots. I seem to find myself more often in this stuff than I do on that, but again it's trial and error, it's getting out there, it's putting that into play, getting used to that motion. Some of them will feel alien, but it's knowing when and where to play which shot and how to set up. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, I will see you back on Monday. We're back doing putting. As for now, enjoy your weekend, and hopefully we're back out on the golf course soon.